Hello, this is Ruth Griff from Dyslexia Services. Today we're going to look at, well, they're silent letters, but they're also called quiet E. So these are going to be the words we're going to be focusing on today. So I'm going to bring up the sheet so that you understand and you can follow me. Before we can begin to really understand silent E on the end of words, we're going to just go over the short and the long sounds. This is really important for understanding how to use silent E. So here we go. When we have the short vowel A, we don't add a quiet E. It's always heard as A, as in apple. But the long vowel sound says A, not A. A as in bake. The short vowel sound E, as in egg, but the long vowel E, as in Eve. The short vowel is I, as in igloo, but it's the long vowel is I, as in fine. The short O vowel is O, as in orange, and the long O vowel is O, as in hope. The short is as in umbrella, and the long vowel is U, as in huge. So it's these vowels here that we have a silent E on the end. So that does not say back, that says ache. And then you have the silent E on the end that you can't hear. Same with this one. This does not say Ev, it says Eve. But you can't hear the E. And here, fine, fine. But you can't hear the E. Hope, not hop, hope. Long O, it's got that E on the end. And huge, huge. So you can't hear these E's at the end of any of these words. So let's start with this one. So I'm going to annotate this so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to change the color as well. Okay, so this word, rat, this is what it says with the short vowel. If we've got an E on the end here, it changes its sound. It doesn't say rat, it says r-8. It's the long A sound. So without it, it's rat. With it, it's rate. Let's get this one. At. Short vowel here. I'm going to put a dot there. 8. It's got a quiet E on the end, look. So it doesn't say atty, it says 8. 8. Look at this one. Hat. It's a short A sound. This one's got a quiet E on the end. So it doesn't say hat, and it doesn't say hatty, it says hate. Hate. So you switch from the short sound to the long sound in the vowels when you see this E on the end. So this one's cap, but we're changing to the long sound, so it's not cap anymore, it's cape, cape. Same with these. For add, short sound, long sound with the long A, fade with the E on the end. Pan becomes pain. Gap becomes gape. Mad becomes made. See if you can work these out. Tap becomes, change it to a long A sound. Ta-ap becomes ta-ape. Sa-am becomes, change it to an A sound. S-a. Fat becomes f-a. Mat, short sound becomes the long sound. Mat. Okay. So the same happens when we've got IE words, OE words, and UE words. The short I becomes a I. So it doesn't say bitey, it says, that says bit, that says, or it doesn't say bitty, sorry. That says bit, that does not say bitty. It changes to the long sound, but I. Okay, this r. Ip becomes r, long sound, I, r, ipe. Same here. Rid becomes r, I'd. Shin, with a short sound, it's got this E on the end. Everything with an E on the end is a long I. Shin becomes shine. See if you could work these out. Change the is sound to a I sound. You can do the same. You can download this, print it out, and put a little dot under the short sound and a longer line under the long sound. So you carry on with this. The in becomes, change to the long sound. Sit becomes, I want you to do the same with this line. Win, dim, kit, slid. Change it to the long sounds. Okay, now the same happens with sorry about the little bit of the dog barking in the background. Gets very excited when someone comes to the door. Yes, he loves everybody. Anyway, back to what we were doing. OE. So that's the short sound. O. Long sound is O. So that word says not, and this word says, you say that long sound not, oat, and you add the E on the end. Same with here. Cop becomes, what's the long sound? O, oop. Same with this one. Mop becomes mop. Rod becomes. So you underline them and then you say the words, okay? And this line, put your dot, say the sound for the short sound, rob, and then say the long sound. So if you do that line, so just take one section at a time though. You can use a whiteboard as well. It would be really good if you didn't just put your dots, but you wrote it on a whiteboard. That would be brilliant. And the last section down here is UE. So the short sound is as in cut up. And the long sound, it's got an E on the end, is U, cute. To, up, to, you. So you do the same with this one. Short sound, long sound, short sound, long sound. I'll come back to that one in a minute. Short sound, long sound. Duck becomes duke, the U, juke, and the C is taken out. We have a K instead and the E on the end. So just take one section at a time. I think you're going to need to print this out and then go to your switch it in tiles and practice each section. This one, I, E, O, E, U, E, and A, E, which is on the page before. So I'm going to do a bit of a demonstration for you now, but I'll only demonstrate a little bit because I want you to do the work. So use your letter tiles, use your whiteboard, and get the long and the short sounds sorted out in your mind. And remember always, if there's an E on the end, it's usually a long sound here, or here, or here. Okay, so we're now going to switch to tiles and have a little go. So using your sheet that you've printed out, let's make these words. First one we're going to do is the short sound. R, A, T. That's rat. R, go over it. A, T. Now you add on the E, and what happens? This silent E changes this vowel from the short sound to the long sound. So it no longer says rat. Certainly doesn't say ratty. It says r-8. Okay. Now switch that one. And we're going to make a different word. We're going to make hat. Very easy one. It just helps you to distinguish the sounds again. So you bring the h down. H, a, t. Short sound. Again, when I add this E on here, we have the long sound. This silent E changes this from a short sound to a long sound. So it doesn't say A, it says A. H, 8. You can't hear this E. That's why it's called silent E. Okay. I'll do one more with the A sound. We're going to do, not cat actually. We're going to do cap. Cap as in what you wear on your head. K, a, p, short sound. Bring the E along. This changes to a long sound. No longer says ka-ap or cappy. Does not say that. It says ka-ape with the silent E on the end. So now we're going to do the quiet E with the long I sound. So the first word we're going to do is bit or bite. So I've got ba, I, short sound. T. That is just a short sound, but it. Again, you add the E. You can't hear it, but it changes this sound from short I to long I. So it says ba, I, t, bite. So if you write it on your whiteboard, or go over it like I am with my pointy finger here. Bite. This E makes all the difference. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's change the word to ripe. So I've got to get rid of this one as well. Ripe. So it starts with this word. R, I, there we go. Now that says rip. Rip. Short sound. R, I, P. Add this on. We have R, I, ripe. Again, go over it with your finger. Say the sounds. Say the word. R, I, P. Or write it on your whiteboard. And then try the others. Try this one. What's this word? Short sound. R, I, D. Add the E. What is this? This changes to a long sound. R, I, D. So I want you to continue to do ride and then do shine. So with this sheet beside you, go onto your letter tiles or stay on your letter tiles and do these words. Change the short sound, O to O. So it's not ot, no, oat. Take off the E sound, but we have to write it. No, oat. Let me just annotate for you. Okay, not, note. So if you put your dots underneath, ka, op, ka, o. Do the same with this one. Short sound. Mop becomes long O. Rod becomes long O. I want you to put your dots and your lines on your paper. And then I want you to use your letter tiles online and change the word and say the difference. So not becomes note, cop becomes cope. So I would like you to do all of those and all of these under here, the UE ones. Cut becomes you, cut becomes cute. So put your dot on your line and say the word. Cut, cute, tub, tube. Next one, I'd like you to do it. This one's, I helped with this one, duck and duke. And then this one. So just take one small section at a time. Put your dots on. We haven't put them on this one, have we? Bite becomes bit, but we did do this on my demonstration a bit earlier. So this is what I'd like you to do. Print it out. Put your dot, put your line, say the word and hear the sound difference and see that the quiet E on the end can never be heard, but it tells you that this letter here, whether it's an A, E, I, O, U, becomes the long sound. And also use your whiteboard to practice writing it as well. That way, it will help you to remember how to spell these things.